And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just run through a series of slides here that sort of, to me, expresses some of the fundamental ideas that we're dealing with here with this particular subject. I refer to it as the hidden architecture of creation. And I think that's a very apropos way to describe it, because underlying the entire visible created universe, there is a pattern, if you will. And to many people, it is a pattern. It has a divine quality to it. It's because of the way, as it says here, the harmony of the worlds. And we'll just go on here. Of course, that's the yin yang, but I'm going to just go through a few quotes that kind of sum up and express some of the fundamental ideas of geometry, sacred geometry. St. Augustine said that numbers are the thoughts of God. Galileo said mathematics is the alphabet with which God has written the universe. Johannes Kepler said geometry existed before the creation. It is co-eternal with the mind of God. Geometry provided God with a model for the creation. And Plato had inscribed over the entrance to his academy, "Let none enter here who are ignorant of geometry." Because Plato, along with Pythagoras and many others in the ancient traditions, the archaic traditions, believed that geometry provided a very powerful key for unlocking many of the traditions and the science of old. This is the winding staircase, which is a very Masonic symbol. And you have the two pillars that flank the entrance to all Masonic temples. And on the right, I don't know if you can see up there, let me see, right up here, you have a celestial globe, and over here you have the terrestrial globe with the lines of latitude and longitude. And this is the winding staircase of 3, 5, and 7 steps that leads up to whatever it is that's up here in the concealed chamber. But only the initiates are allowed to ascend that staircase. Now, the two pillars go back to the legend. There was a legend of Lamech, another legend of Enoch, and it goes something like this. Prior to the great flood, Enoch, who was of the 7th generation from Adam, had foreknowledge that the world was about to be destroyed. And so what he did was he fashioned an underground vault consisting of 9 chambers. And in the 9th centralmost concealed and hidden away chamber, he included an artifact. According to some traditions, that artifact was a cube. In others, it is a tetrahedron. You see a tetrahedron over there next to the flowers. You'll see a cube right here. And within that cube, or that tetrahedron, was encoded all of the science and knowledge and wisdom of the world that was about to be destroyed. So he sealed over and hid this 9-chambered underground vault from all prying eyes, and then he erected 2 pillars, one of marble, one of brass. And the idea was that the marble would withstand fire, and the brass would withstand water, or vice versa. I mean, there are many variants on the story. The point is there were 2 pillars. And in the archaic traditions from all over the world, we find the same theme, that the world is destroyed periodically either by the agents of fire or water or a combination of the two. So the idea was that when survivors of the great world destruction could find one or other of these 2 pillars, the pillars would guide them to this underground chamber, and if they excavate and they penetrate to the innermost chamber, they would find the artifact in which the entirety of the science and wisdom of the former world, the archaic age, was preserved. So Masons have preserved this image of the 2 pillars. So whenever you enter a Masonic lodge, you pass between the 2 pillars, the terrestrial pillar and the celestial pillar. Another meaning of that is that the idea of the great work, whether it's the Hermetic work or the alchemical work or the Masonic work or any of these other traditions, is the linking of heaven and earth. That's the ultimate goal, is this as above, so below. As below, so above, for the working of the one miracle from the Emerald Tablet of Hermes. right? So this was the essence of what the great work was all about. And as we'll see through examples, there are many examples from all over the world of where these ancient builders and designers, these master builders and designers, were attempting to replicate the heavens upon the earth. And there's a very profound series of connections there that I think tells us that there's more than coincidence in the fact that they were literally attempting to recreate patterns, celestial patterns in the terrestrial realm. So all of that is bound up in this imagery right here. This is where it's all going to start tomorrow with this, the vesica piscis. This is the overlaying of two circles such that the center of one falls upon the circumference of the other. And it creates this overlap between the two, which is the vesica, the vessel, right? The piscis means fish, because the early Christians took the vessel, the vesica, turned it on its side, added an eye and a fin and a tail, and it became ichthys, the fish, the symbol of early Christianity, which of course was an imagery also of the Piscean age in which Christianity was founded. So it begins with connecting the line of centers, right? This is very fundamental right here. Since this is about geometry this weekend, we're going to be looking at how geometry provides us a set of keys to help interpret this. Some of these doctrines and these traditions that have come down to us that I think are not in any way pseudoscientific. I think we have to begin to look at these almost with a scientific mindset and open enough to think that there may be more to our history than conventional academia has acknowledged up to this point. And again, one of the things I've said is, at some point you've got to question the meaning of coincidence. And so tomorrow what we're going to do is we're going to have our kits, we'll have our drawing pads, we'll have our compasses that we can set upon the face of the deep and constructing and creating these forms and patterns, and we can see how they tie into a lot of things. And I think we're going to have fun. You're all going to get colored pencil. We'll get to do some coloring. So yeah, I think that should be it for tonight, huh? All right, I'll see you guys in the morning.